Thank you. Everything is fixable. And after today, I'm even more convinced than before. But let me ask you the question, why are you here? And I don't want to ask you what's your purpose. Eddie already did this today. I want to ask you, why are you here today? Why are you here? Which kind of information are you hoping to receive today? Or do you want some motivation? Or do you want some inspiration today? Or do you need some permission? And what are you hoping to fix by being here? Is there something you're running away from? Or is it something that you need to get? My name is Johan, but most people that know me call me Yoda. So you can call me Yoda. I want to drive 3 points home today. And the first one is, there are only 3 parts to fix anything. So it's not complicated. I don't say it's easy, but it's not complicated. I'm going to tell you which part to tackle first. And the third thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it easier for you to accomplish this. But where did it all start? It was the summer of? No. It was the summer of '76. And in that summer, my granddad learned me how to fix his flat tire on his car. And I was too small to have enough power to unscrew the bolts of that wheel. And my granddad didn't do this for me. He just showed me how to use the power of a lever to unscrew that bolt. And it was such a moment for me. Wow, my granddad, he knows a lot. I want to know a lot too. And in school, knowing a lot means having a lot of results. That means if you can spit back the information that you got a lot of results. So I was convinced that the way to get results was by getting more information. More information would solve every problem that I had. So then to the real world. After my studies, I started working in Colruyt. And one of my first assignments in Colruyt was making a new work method for cleaning out the candy shop, you know, where you can buy chocolate and candies, you put you can buy this. I needed to make a new method. So how do I solve that problem? I go for finding new information. So I ask questions, get new information, and I rearrange the steps, and I get a new method, which is 81% better than the previous one. See, information solves everything. When I go to my boss and I tell him, I have a better method. And he says, let's implement it in 3 shops. Okay. I go to the shops, I'll explain them what they have to do. I tell them the ins and outs, and I show them what was in it for them. I leave them. I return 3 weeks later, nothing changed. So, oh, I have a problem. How can I fix this problem? I need more information. So I asked my boss, how can I fix this? Because I have a better method. And Chris said, you need to give them more motivation. So I asked him, Chris, how do you do this? And he says, you tell them the ins and outs, and you tell them what's in it for them. And I thought, that's what I did, right? So there was something lacking. But I was already convinced that information was not enough. Back in my office, I started talking to Dirk, and Dirk said, that's not the way to do this, Johan, because information and motivation gives a result, but I have a better trick. What you have to do is you tell the people in those 3 stores, let's make a new method together. Oh, so why you do this? I don't know the best method, but let's try something. So I followed Dirk's approach, and I went to the shop, told them, let's make a new method. And strangely enough, they had a new method, which was only 46% better. It's not so good as mine, but at least it was implemented. So I asked Dirk, why does your approach work? And he says, I don't know, and I don't care, it just works. But for an engineer like me, that was not enough. I like to find a formula that could fix everything. And I was already convinced that it was something to do with information and motivation, by knowing what to do and why to do it. Fast forward a couple of years, I had a new boss. And my new boss was called Tony. And the third day I was in his department, he asked me, Johan, where do you want to take your department? I said, Tony, I'm only 3 days here. I don't know. He said, why don't you know? I said, I don't have expertise. I don't have enough information. He says, I know. I'm asking your opinion. He says, I don't have an opinion if I don't have information. And he said, that's strange. I always have an opinion. Granted, he's from Antwerp. He had always an opinion. It's kind of strange. So he forced me a bit to give my opinion, which felt uncomfortable for me. And then 100 days later, approximately, he said, Johan, I'm going to give you some feedback. What I noticed with working with you is that you are always asking for permission from me. You know something, you don't know if it's going to work, but you ask for permission. And I'm going to tell you why you ask for permission. He said, because if things go wrong and you got permission, you can say it was not my fault. This took a couple of weeks before it sunk in. And then I had a flash of the obvious, and I thought, what would happen if I said permission was in my formula? Would the test in the shop be congruent with what I'm thinking now? Is a result information? Why? What? Motivation? Why? Permission? How? Would this be right? And if this is my formula, where do we start then? So let's take a thought experiment. What I want you to do now is first tell me, are there people that don't know how to kiss? Let me see hands. Otherwise, I'm going to give you some information. You just make a duck face, and it's going to work out. Yeah? Okay. So everybody knows the information that's needed to kiss. So now look left and right, and you see that beautiful stranger, right? Cyril, be careful. You see that beautiful stranger. In your imagination, if you kiss that beautiful stranger, this will be the best kiss of your life. So you're really motivated, right, to do this? Well, hold on. It's just a thought experiment. Nothing in reality, just a thought experiment. Because in this day and age, you need consent, right? You need permission, not only for yourself, but also from the other party. That means if you have enough information, if you have enough motivation, you don't need more motivation. You don't need more information. You just need permission. So, how do you find the bottleneck? How do you find what you're lacking? Well, if you lack information in this day and age, it's very easy, right? You find new information. You read a book, you listen to a podcast, mine preferably. You get new information. That's easy. If you want to find more motivation, you listen to some inspirational speakers. You try to find something that fuels that inner fire. You get more inspiration. But how do you get more permission? And then I thought back, how do we solve that issue in a company? How do we solve the issue in a company to get permission? Well, that's kind of simple, right? We do a pilot. We do a test. Why? Because that's very safe. It's very safe to do a pilot, to do a test, because all the stakeholders don't have an issue if something goes wrong. So the way to solve the bottleneck, if you don't have permission, is telling, I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to do a small experiment for myself. And I have a hero, one of my heroes is Einstein. He has a great quote. He says, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and then hoping for a different result. Yeah, that's good. That's telling us what we don't have to do. But what is then what we have to do? Well, I think I have a better quote. I think I fixed this quote, that as long as I don't have the results I want, I will try another experiment. So to conclude, one, I think there are only 3 parts. Results is information times motivation and times permission. The second is find your bottleneck. And the third is do an experiment. So, dum, 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 dum. Will you please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up now. I thought my singing was really good today. We're going to do a small experiment today. Huh? Experiments have a lot of advantages. One is it gives you permission to do something different. The other is that it tests your assumptions. And what I want you to do is now think, what is your best leg? Is it the left leg or is it the right leg? Yeah. So decide. It's not that complicated, it's binary, 1 or 2. You decided, so put all your weight on your best leg. Yeah. And wait, hold your horses. I haven't given you permission. When I say start, I'm going to count down, and we're going to make a sort of measurement. Ready? Put your weight on the leg. Start. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, that's our baseline, right? What is an experiment? We're going to try something else, right? That means that we're going to try your other leg. The same exercise, no need to further explain. Put your weight on the leg. I'm going to say start, and then we start. Put your weight on the leg, start. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Who has changed his mind? Who had a better leg? Some people said, oh, my first assumption was not right. I know it's a small experiment, just one test. We're going to do something different. Yeah? Now you know what your best leg is. For the people who changed their mind, it's the second. For those that didn't change their mind, it's the first. Put your weight, again, on your best leg. We're going to do the same exercise. Start, but now close your eyes. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You see, this experiment, I added another variable, which makes it very difficult to compare. I think life is a number of experiments, so have a great one and do some nice experiments in the coming weeks. Thank you. And you really can fix a standing ovation. Thank you.